challenge, start a fire using just one match. And I'm going to show you how. There are so many ways to build a campfire. Anybody you ask is going to have a different method. There's a log cabin method, lean-to method, teepee method. There's so many different ways you can build a fire, so this is just one. I was told to follow the 4 Ds of collecting firewood. So it's down, it's dead and dry, it's dinky, and it's distant. You want anything you collect to put in the fire to be down. You don't want it to be pulling it off of a tree. You want it to be down on the ground. Number 2, it has to be dead. And this is dead/dry because sometimes things are down and dead, but they're not dry yet. That could either be because it rained recently and it's a pretty wet piece of wood, or it could be because a windstorm knocked it down before it was dead. You want it to be dinky. Don't just go pulling logs out of the woods. That final tip, distant, you want it to be far away from your campsite. You don't want everything that you gather to be from right around in this radius. Kind of walk farther away from your campsite. That's just good leave no trace ethics. More kindling is always better. So I've got a lot of this hemlock. You can always burn smaller things, but it's impossible to jump up to the bigger wood before your little fire is ready to burn it. Okay, so to start building this fire, I just lay 4 sticks down, and inside that square, I'm just gonna build a little lean-to. Starts out looking like a log cabin fire, but I really like making lean-to fires. That's because I feel like when the twigs are kind of propped up against each other, you have airflow going underneath, and that's just one method. There's so many methods. So I'm gonna take this really tiny hemlock twigs, and I'm gonna break them up a little bit and put them right under here where I'm gonna be lighting the fire. And so these are tinier than a match. They're gonna be the first thing that's gonna burn. Somebody told me once that flames can't light anything bigger than the fuel source that they're burning from, so a match isn't gonna be able to light anything bigger than a match unless it lights other little match-sized twigs, and then it can grow. So you have to start really small and work up from there. So I'm gonna start laying those on top, like in a lean-to position. It doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be planned. Something else that I don't like using when I'm starting fires is leaves. Leaves are a really tempting fire starter at first, but you'll find that when you burn them, all they do is smoke. They don't really create a flame. If they're wet, they really hold moisture and they're just gonna smother any tiny flame that you have. This is not a how to build the prettiest fire, but I am making sure that there's always airflow underneath. I have all my kindling kind of set up, and I've got some more at the ready to put it on once the match catches. So I'm gonna go ahead and light. There's a lot of pressure. Also, before I light it, hold it up when you light it, because if you hold it down, 1, you might burn your fingers, but 2, since fire burns upwards, it will burn the match a lot faster than if you hold it as upright as possible when you're lighting. You can hold it in one place. I feel like that makes it catch a little bit better than if you just kind of light it and move the match a lot. By holding it in one place, it allows it a little bit better chance to catch. So you can see that these little tiny hemlock twigs have caught. I'm gonna add some more on there. It catches really fast, but it also burns really fast. You want it to snap whenever you break it, and this would be a nice dry piece to put on there. It's pretty bendy. This would be something that's too wet for the fires. Another thing I forgot to mention for good kindling is like shreds off of a bigger log. You can kind of rip off pieces that are little shreds, and these burn really nicely. Now that they're a little bit bigger, you can add a little bit bigger twigs. So you want to be constantly adding fuel to your fire. Once you start it, you can't pause. There's no pause button once you've lit the match. All right, so I've got a little baby flame going. You really have to kind of baby the fire at this point. Always be watching it, see if it needs more oxygen, if it needs more fuel. Don't be afraid once you've started moving up to bigger sticks, if they're not catching, don't be afraid to go back to your little stuff. You can always burn something smaller, but once you've smothered it with something huge, it's hard to go back from there. So don't forget that fire needs oxygen. When you blow on the fire, it doesn't help it to just blow straight down. What's gonna help is if you blow on the fire from the side, or even better, if you can get kind of all the way down where your cheek is almost on the ground, and you can blow from the bottom of the fire. All your job is right now is to make sure you have more fuel for it. And you can keep moving up to bigger and bigger sticks. So I'm not winning any awards for prettiest fire or anything, but these are just some tips to get it started and going with one match. The real question is, how long do you have to wait before you can start making s'mores?